Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to calculate your relationship sign astrologically, the way proper astrologers do it. And I want you to listen not to just one video because it's not just one sign that describes your relationship. It's not that easy. Things are quite mixed always and quite complex, as you've noticed by real astrology I've been trying to teach you. It's never black and white. It's never, oh, your Aries and your partners will be always like Libras. But it's always, we look at relationship, first of all, from the ascendant sign. That's how we calculate relationship. From the seventh sign from the ascendant, or we call it the seventh house, describes your marriage partner. Most often how he'll be physically, how he'll be like persona-wise. But if you don't know your ascendant sign, you can find it by going to my website, AstroLada.com, following the link below. Or following the link below, and go to the ascendant sign calculator, enter the time of your birth correctly. Say if you're born 6:30 in the afternoon, enter it like 18:30, the European way. And once you have the ascendant sign, listen to the relationship description for the ascendant sign. Give the ascendant sign make it the first one you listen to, because it will be probably more than 40% true. You identify with more than 40% with it. And then find out your moon sign, because the moon has direct relevance to relationships as well, because the moon is the planet of emotions and feelings and vulnerability in our inner world and how we connect to others. Therefore, it's one of the most important planets for deciding relationships. And once you know the sign of your moon, then go and listen to the relationship description of your moon sign as well. It will probably give you 30% description of your partner will be like, or for some, even especially for females, because females identify with the moon much more than males, because the moon is a feminine planet and females are feminine creatures. A lot of the women can identify a lot with the description of the partnerships of the moon sign, actually, and again, the partnerships from the moon sign are again defined by counting 7 signs from the sign of the moon. So basically the opposite sign. It's always the opposite sign of the one that you have as the moon sign, as the ascendant sign, or sun sign. And also check the description of the partnership for your sun sign, especially males, because the sun is a masculine planet and males identify more with their rational, logical side, with their more, goal-oriented and active side, which is described by the moon. And a lot of women will also identify with it, because in those day and age, nowadays, women are much more in touch with their masculine side, with their active and goal-oriented, achieving side, rational side, And the sun sign is the one everyone knows. If you're born in April, you're probably Aries or Taurus. If you're born in September, you're probably Virgo or Libra. This is the one everyone knows. It will probably give you 25% the sign, the description of the partnerships that you're going to attract. But make sure you listen to the 3 of them to get the fuller picture. Some of you identify more with the ascendant sign partnership. Some of them will identify more with the sign opposite the moon. Some of you with the sign opposite the sun. But you will definitely feel the 3 sign partnerships as well. When you think about it, you will. But again, I keep saying, I think the ascendant is the most relevant one through watching through my practice in the long years. And what happens if you have your ascendant in Pisces, your moon in Pisces, or your sun in Pisces? Well, then the sign opposite it and the sign of your relationships, that will describe probably 20 to 30% of the type of partners you're attracting. Maybe to some of you even 50% will describe your partner. You're most often the partnership you meet will be the sign opposite Pisces, and this is Virgo. And it's very interesting because Virgo is very opposite Pisces. There are underlying similarity because they're part of the same package. They're part of the same unit. But there are also quite opposing qualities that you will be often drawn to, or you will subconsciously draw into your life as long-term partners. And why do we attract people who are opposite from us? Because we need to learn from them. We need to incorporate their qualities and their lessons into our life. And what are the lessons that what are actually Virgo type of partners you'll be attracting. Like, and I'm not saying these will be Virgos. I'm not saying they'll be born in September or August, but they might have probably their moon there, they might have their ascendant there, maybe some other planets in Virgo, maybe their sun, but they might not have any planets in Virgo and just act like Virgos, you know, they'll just have this energy of a Virgo because probably their Mercury is very strong, because Mercury is the planet of Virgo, and if it's very strong in the horoscope, it will make them very much Virgo-like. But you don't need to be an astrologer to notice what kind of people you normally attract. And if you just know your ascendant sign, your moon sign, or your sun sign, you can see, you know. And the type of Virgo people that you're attracting, well, they'll be very organized and neat people. And don't you Pisces people need that? Definitely no. And they'll be very detached and mental people, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet that rules the mind, that rules the discrimination processes, the analysis processes. And while Pisces, they act on faith. Anyone who has anything in Pisces, they'll have like inner faith. They will flow, go with the flow more often. They'll trust life. They'll be like, oh, whatever, tomorrow is just as good day to do what I'm supposed to do today. Oh, let's have fun. Let's have another drink, you know. They'll be much more easygoing and flowing, and they trust the universe, and you trust the universe when you have your ascendant in Pisces. But the partners you'll be attracting will be the opposite. They'll be very practical, down-to-earth people. They don't have this inner faith you might be having, but they'll be very centered into the earthly life and into their practical duties, and maybe very much into their work. I'm not saying they'll be workaholics, but they'll be very much inclined to pay a lot more attention to their duties, to their responsibilities, to the everything they have to do in the practical material world, rather than to spend so much time daydreaming or submerged in escapism like Pisces like to do. And they will teach you to be grounded in this practical matters. It might drive you mad at the beginning that they make a list of you, you know, what to do. And they might say, oh, wake up in the morning, do the bed, wash the dishes, you know, these extreme cases. But very often you'll be attracting much more neat and organized people than you are, much more practical. They want everything to have its place, everything to be ordered, you know. And sooner or later, by symbiosis or by soaking up their energy, you'll become like that. Or just because you're fed up of always being, you know, told, oh, you have to clean, you have to do this, you have to, you know, you have to go to the shop. Did you go to the shop? Did you do the ironing? Did you do the washing? Even if you're a man, you know, the woman will be probably one who is always worried about the practicalities of life, everyday chores and practical duties, you know, and she or he will teach you to take responsibility of that, to get centered more into this practical day-to-day life. And they can be quite picky and fussy as well, you know, because they're so selective, discriminative, perfectionist type of partners. And again, it's very good for you Pisces, because you go with the flow, as I say. You need someone to be more perfectionist, you know, even though it drives you mad. You know, even though it can be very infuriating at times, but you're here to develop in this life the opposite qualities of Virgo, of practicality, critical analysis, you know, and the problem solving, because the type of partners you'll be attracted, they would have practical solutions to any kind of practical problems, and there'll be really good ability to you know, to analyze and to find a solution to problems rather than lose their cool, you know. So it's very good because you can rely on your partners when something's going wrong in your life, for them to give you an advice. Don't expect them to be sympathetic, because they're not so emotionally expressive, the type of partners you'll be attractive. You know, they will not be making you big promises. They will not be saying, oh, crying with you, giving you a shoulder to cry on. They'll much rather go and help you solve the problem immediately, give you a resolution, give you an idea how to resolve it. And sometimes not everyone needs that, especially as women. We need to be, you know, we need our partner to feel sorry for us sometimes and say, oh, you know, there you go, you poor little sod, you know, don't worry. But they might not do that if you have partners who have, you know, if you're if you have Pisces in you, your partners might not be like that much. They'll just go and help you resolve the problem, like I said, or they'll do something practical for you, rather than do emotional displays. And that's why they'll be sometimes very often quietly reserved, they'll be polite, unassuming. Don't expect your partners to be flamboyant and buying the most expensive champagne in the club, or no, as again I said, they'll be practical, down to earth, worried with everyday, with their business or duties, and not someone to show off, not someone to be center of attention, but they'll be very witty, because Virgos is known as one of the wittiest signs. They'll have a great biting sense of humor sometimes, so you need someone who stimulates you intellectually. You will often be attracting people who stimulate you intellectually and who ground you to the more everyday activities, more earthly activities of life, and who teach you who will motivate you to be more dutiful, more skillful, more efficient, because they themselves are like that, and to be more discreet as well, and to stick to your promises, because Pisces have a tendency to not to follow through, and because their sense of responsibility is not so strong. Well, unless of course you have some planets in Capricorn or some other more responsible sign, but you also have the Pisces quality of escapism, of taking it easy, of enjoying life, which is quite positive. And that's what you teach your partners. You teach them how to relax, how to go with the flow, how to take it easy, how to trust in a higher power. But we're here now to talk about your partners, and who will bring you down to reality, who will help you solve practical problems, who will help you be organized, neat, and more dutiful, and clean, and how to make better decisions, how to make better selections based on discriminating mind, rather than always thinking to go with the emotion that comes inside of you. But they'll help you how to judge matters from the outside based on what you're observing, based on what you're given, rather than on a gut feeling that Pisces often have, So it's a great combination. You each help each other grow. You each learn the evolutionary lessons from the partner. And let me know if you consider this to be true, if you have any Pisces in your sun, ascendant, or moon, and if you have found yourself to attract those perfectionist boyfriends or girlfriends, that might be doing those lists for you and keeping you more down to earth. Thank you very much, Pisces, and I'm looking forward to your comments.